Welcome to the Muñiz Legal Podcast, From Injury to Inheritance.
Hey everyone, welcome back to an all-new episode of the Muñiz Legal Podcast, From Injury to Inheritance, with Lizzette Muñiz, the founder of Muñiz Legal, the show that's dedicated to guiding you from life's toughest moments to lasting peace of mind. I'm your host, Mike Leon. You know, Lizette's born in Manhattan, raised in the Bronx. I know all about that. She's a Brooklyn resident for over 2 decades, and now she's a proud resident of Ulster County and has been serving clients all across New York City and the Hudson Valley. She's a bilingual Spanish-speaking attorney who's been helping families obtain compensation after accidents and protect what they've worked hard for through thoughtful estate planning. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to give your estate plan a simple, meaningful New Year reset, even if you don't consider yourself wealthy. Well, I need to hear this episode because I don't consider myself wealthy. Lizzette, it's good to see you as always. Let's dive into the first question here because this is something that, as I've talked to other estate planning attorneys, it's like a Captain Obvious question. Do I really need an estate plan if I'm not rich?
Thanks for having me, Mike. That is a very common question that I hear. And the answer is yes, you need an estate plan, even if you're not rich, because people get sick and people become incapacitated. And part of your estate plan includes documents that help protect you in those circumstances.
So let's talk about the documents. You just mentioned them. What are the minimum documents that most adults should have?
Yeah, at the very minimum, you should have a will, a healthcare proxy, and a power of attorney.
Let's talk a little bit about one of those, the will. A lot of people think the will covers everything. Why isn't a will enough by itself?
A will is not enough by itself because a will only determines who gets your assets when you die and allows you to name guardians for your minor children. It does not protect you while you're still alive. The only documents that will protect you while you're still alive are a healthcare proxy, power of attorney, and in many cases, a living will.
Lizzette, I mentioned New Year's reset in the intro. So what's the best New Year's reset somebody can do as a step in, let's say, 20 minutes?
Yeah, that's an easy question to answer. Basically, I will say review all of your accounts, meaning your bank accounts, your retirement accounts, any life insurance policies. Review the beneficiary designations. Make sure that they are still applicable to your current circumstances. That's the quickest thing you can do, and it would really save you a lot of trouble and heartache in the future.
Speaking of life insurance, my wife kills me about this. So let me ask you, a lot of people probably assume, hey, I'm married. My spouse automatically gets everything. I don't have to worry about this. Is that true?
Unfortunately, it is not true. In some circumstances, it can be true, but it depends on how assets are held. And in many cases, we would need to review a person's assets to see if they're held jointly with rights of survivorship. And if you don't do it while you're alive, then typically the courts need to get involved. And that's what you're trying to avoid when you're formulating an estate plan.
Always trying to avoid probate. That I know for sure. So Lizzette, let's take the opposite. As somebody who's single out there, they're listening to this. Who should I designate or who should I choose as my agent?
I've been getting that question a lot lately. I've had a lot of clients coming to me who are single with no children, and they really do spend a lot of time worrying about that. And what I usually recommend is to think of somebody who is both responsible and trustworthy. That's the first step. And then second of all, you want somebody who is willing to serve. And so what a lot of my single clients have been doing, especially over the holidays when they're gathering with family members and friends, they've been kind of scouting and trying to determine who those individuals might be. It doesn't have to be a relative. They just need to fit the criteria of trustworthy, responsible, and willing to serve.
Let's do the third scenario, which is now the children. So if I have kids, what's the most important step I should know?
The most important step when you have kids is to name guardians for your children. At our firm, we don't only name long-term guardians. We can put a plan in place for you to name short-term guardians, because sometimes if an incident happens or an accident happens and the parents don't come home and your long-term guardians live across the country, somebody still needs to take care of your children while your long-term guardians can get to your children. So part of our plans is including long-term guardians as well as short-term guardians.
And I know the age of the child always depends as well too, because obviously kids mature at different ages. Can I name minor children as beneficiaries?
It is not a good idea to name minor children as beneficiaries because minor children are not allowed to receive sums of money in that manner. In an estate plan, you would designate somebody to serve as a fiduciary and to make necessary distributions on behalf of your children. And that will avoid them having to go to court to get authority to do that, and will minimize the delay in getting the funds to your children when they need them most.
Lizzette, tax season is right around the corner. How can someone out there use their tax refund as maybe like a family protection mechanism and investment?
Yeah, it's a great question. I always recommend that people designate their tax refund, or at least a portion of their tax refund, to some planning, even if that just means doing very basic planning with your healthcare proxy, power of attorney, and will. It's an investment in the futures of your loved ones, because when we are creating an estate plan, we're really doing it for the people we care most about. We don't want them to have additional heartache when we're no longer around.
Lizzette, as we put a bow on this episode, all right, the person's listening out there, right? Two scenarios. One, they haven't done it at all. Explain why they should do all of this. And two, the person has done it. Why should they revisit their documents? And what would you want them to learn about what's in those documents as to why they need to revisit them?
Well, if you haven't done it at all, I recommend that you at least take the steps, like I said, to do a very basic plan that will give you peace of mind. It's buildable. You can do the basic documents now, and then later on do something more elaborate or complex if you so choose. And then for the people who have already done it, it's very important that you revisit your estate plan at least every 3 years. At our firm, we provide a free evaluation of your estate plan every 3 years so that we can review your designations with regards to your fiduciaries, guardians, trustees, executors, and to see if that's still what you want. So it's not a set it and forget it process. You really need to reassess it periodically.
Yeah. Lizzette, thank you for the time, insights. As always, I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
And thank you to everyone out there for listening to this installment of the Muñiz Legal Podcast, From Injury to Inheritance. Look, if you take nothing else from today, take this. You don't have to do everything all at once, but pick one action this week, whether it's beneficiary audit, choosing your agents, name the guardians, or even starting this process. I can help you. So can a lawyer. Her name's Lizzette. Go to MuñizLegal.com if you want to find out more, connect with Lizzette and the team. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a review and comment, or share the episode with someone who needs to hear it. As always, I'm Mike Leon. See everybody next time.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.